Welcome to this video, and hello, welcome if you're new. If you are looking for some cozy autumn vibes, maybe you're sitting in and it's dark outside when you're watching this video, pop the kettle, make yourself something warm, let's get cozy because I am bringing you on a garden walk. I wanted to capture the trees going all autumnal and the last of the dahlias in the National Botanic Gardens before everything falls away and the frost comes along. In this video, I'm going to bring you to the National Botanic Gardens of Ireland, which is located in Glasnevin, and it's not too far from Dublin city centre. If you are like me and when you visit a city, you may crave to go somewhere quiet. So if gardening is your thing or you want just a nature fix, then add this to your to-do list if you do visit Dublin. If you're staying in city centre, you can get a bus handy enough, or you could probably get a cheap enough taxi. It's not too far from the city centre. I think it's only 3 or 4 kilometres. It's also right next to the Glasnevin cemetery, where you can do tours. It's quite popular to do guided tours and to walk around. So you could do these 2 attractions in the one trip. When having a little dig on the internet for some facts about the Botanic Gardens, I found out that this year they were rated as the best gardens in Europe. French hospitality company Accor gave their #1 spot to Glasnevin Gardens, praising it as a tranquil retreat. I'm probably not going to say it right, but Bodnant Garden in Wales was second. I think I need to visit. Followed by the Royal Botanic Garden in Edinburgh. And it was rated #1 based on the reviews and positive experiences from visitors. Another big positive is it is free. So it's free to walk around, spend as much time as you like. And for a small fee, I think it might be €5, you can do a guided tour. I went midweek and it was early in the morning. It was about 10 o'clock when I went, and I did notice there was lots of groups. There were some school groups, but I did notice that there was college groups as well and some tourist groups, and they had a guide and they were going around. So I was kind of earwigging and trying to piggyback on their little group tour. So if you do want a more detailed history, information on plants, you can book a tour. You can get all the information on their websites, and I think it opens at 9 o'clock in the morning, but the closing times will change in autumn. I think in autumn time it may close from November to February at about 4:30 or 5. So basically when it gets dark. I think during summer it opens until 7, but just check the website before you visit. These gardens are just under 50 acres in size, and they home over 16,000 different plant species. The Botanic Gardens are most famous for the Victorian glasshouses, the curvilinear range designed by Richard Turner, and the Great Palm House, Ireland's only tropical rainforest. There is also rose and rock garden, loads of herbaceous borders. There's a pond, and the River Tolka also runs through it. You'll also find the organic fruit and vegetable garden and Wild Ireland, which is the native conservation area. Something I noticed when I was walking around was I noticed groups of art students who were just sitting in the grass, and they were doing sketches of both the buildings and the flowers. If you're someone who is into photography, whether you're on a trip or you're just visiting, or maybe this is in your local area, I think this is a lovely place to go and get some inspiration and practice, whether you're doing some sketches or you're into your photography. Before heading into the glasshouses, I wanted to do a loop around towards the perennial herbaceous borders because I wanted some planting inspiration. These borders were full and juicy considering the time of year as well. I will have to come back in summertime and even in spring, because I can only imagine what these are like with spring bulbs in them. If you're looking for some planting inspiration, you're definitely going to find some. I also loved how they had staked the dahlias. I have never seen them staked like that before, and I think it is something that I will be stealing the idea from. Another thing I stumbled across was there is actually a lot of free talks and lectures held at the Botanic Gardens. If you head to the Heritage Ireland website, it's heritageireland.ie, and if you just click on visit and then the What's On tab, you'll find lots of free talks in other places around Dublin and Ireland, but for the Botanic Gardens specifically. So for example, there was an autumn hedgerow talk, there was an autumn lecture series, talks about plant evolution, also a Birdwatch Ireland lecture. So if you're looking for some free talks, then check on the website. They may have something on their Facebook page as well to keep you up to date. This time of year is the perfect time to go and see the rock garden, where there is loads of acer trees surrounding it. I really wanted to see these before the leaves fall, and just something I've noticed, if you are planning a visit and you want to get that lovely rich autumn colour, I find the leaves in Ireland are at their best around the end of October, around Halloween time, and into early November. I made that mistake a couple of years back when I visited Canada, and it was in September, and I thought I was going to see lovely autumn shots down by Niagara. The leaves are still very green, I've noticed, in September. They start to turn around about late September, early October. I feel like they're at their ripest around the end of October. And now for the glass houses. I believe that these glass houses have been restored, and if you love a greenhouse and you love a glass house, then you're in for a treat. My camera did start to fog up if the lens looks a bit, I don't know, like I put my thumbprint on the glass. It is the condensation from the palm house. And I know sometimes we tend to avoid going to gardens on rainy days, but I was thinking, if you did have a rainy day in Dublin, this will be quite a relaxing spot to walk through all of the different glass houses. The noise, I can only imagine what the noise is like when it rains. The palm house was giving me indoor plant vibes. They're not my favourite plants just because I tend to kill them and they're a bit more precarious to look after. But if you are into your tropical plants, this is an absolute treat. Branching off from the palm house, there is 2 other greenhouses either side of it that you can walk through, and you will find lots of succulents. You'll also find lots of rare plants. I don't really know an awful lot when it comes to, botany and what plant is rare and what's not, but there's loads of little tags on things. And also, if you do the tour as well, I'm sure you'll get all of that information if that is something you're really interested in.
There is a walkway from the Botanic Gardens into Glasnevin Cemetery, so if you do want to walk through and go up to the museum, it is easy enough to find. I've kind of had my fill of graveyards this year, but I did walk through just to get a few clips for you. As I was walking through, I was getting Halloween vibes. So if you're into spooky stuff, now you can also do a tour of the graveyard as well. There is some very impressive headstones here and very, very old. So if you're into your history and your spooky vibes, then this could be a little trip for you. I am just back from the gardens, and the first thing I'm going to do is, you probably saw those beautiful pelargoniums in those greenhouses, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, this is the condition they're supposed to be. So behind me, oh yeah, it's crispy. This is poor neglected pelargonium. So I was like, well, you're getting a drink. You're getting a drink. And then I have this one. I did have two. I left the other one outside and it died. The ones in the greenhouse are actually okay, but I have this one, and this one smells like apples. No, no it doesn't. It smells like mint. But I think the name of it is like apple mint or something. I don't know, I could be making it up. You can get ones of these that actually smell like chocolate. I've seen them in the Orchard Garden Centre. I don't really see ones like these in kind of the likes of, do you know, the smaller garden centres. I never see them in like B&Q or Woodies, but in the kind of more nicher garden centres, I've come across the ones that smell like chocolate. But I saw something similar to this with the foliage, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to look after this. So I think what I'll do is, obviously I'm going to water them, because they're in the window, they dry out much quicker, even in like autumn, because you still get like that sun beating in. So I think I'll feed them. Don't think they've been fed this year. That was my inspiration, was to go home
and stop torturing the pelargoniums. Okay, so I'm actually gonna let them just soak in the sink and absorb the water. They're so dry that the plant is lifting out of the pot as I'm watering it. But the ones I have in my greenhouse are actually not too bad. Now, it was sunny a minute ago. I'll zoom in. So I treated these ones a bit better this year than previous years, and I actually fed them earlier in summer, so they're not as dead as they normally are, because I kept on top with watering them. And I was deadheading them as well. This was really dead in springtime, but it's better now. So yeah, I've been deadheading them, and they're not, you know what, they're not dreadful. Hope you liked my little ramble today. Do you know what I was thinking? And it might be something to make a note of next year. Obviously the weather doesn't be amazing in November, December. And I was thinking it would be a nice garden series to maybe like throughout the summer, if I was to visit places and just keep the content in, like edit it and then push it live in November and December. Because I feel like November and December, it's a great month for like getting inspiration. Aside from going out and clearing leaves and planting the odd bulbs, it's kind of like a lull. So I think, I don't know, it might be a nice garden series for next year if I was to maybe visit some gardens throughout the year and then do a series in November, December when it's a bit quieter and we're all cozy and we're in our house and you can kind of get inspiration. Like I find I watch back on old garden videos from channels like Garden Answer and get inspiration in winter, make a note of it for the next year. So yeah, I don't know, let me think. Let me know what you think about that. Somebody is chasing a fly around the greenhouse. Look how big he's getting. Bioga is here somewhere. I actually think she's up the tree. So I need to go find her, bring her in for her dinner. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.